They're looking for more offensive viscosity. So there you see Smith getting ready. He's into the beat. But I think it's a good move by Riley. He has to try something right now. The team is very stagnant on the offense.
You really have to say, Clyde, as you watch Tony Campbell play, he looks really uncomfortable out there. And maybe you get a chance to watch a little bit more from the bench. And perhaps coming off the bench may be suited for him. We don't know.
Yeah, he might be feeling pressure. You know, he's a native of New Jersey, so playing in front of the hometown crowd might be affecting his game.
All right, well, Las Vegas knew something that maybe we didn't. They predicted, actually, that the Pistons would win on Sunday after the big win over the Bulls by the Knicks. Is there any explanation how a team could be so good and then so bad?
Well, obviously, they were coming off a high, beating the Bulls the way they did. But if you want to move into the upper echelon, you cannot rest on your assets. You got to be prepared to go every game. And I think the Knicks have found that out, so they should be up for the Blazers tonight.
Better you than me. That's Walt Frazier. He'll rejoin me at halftime for the highlights and more. Coming up, our game with Tony Bennett's national anthem. But first, Bob Page's report from the sports desk. But before we go, the Nissan this date in NBA history. Yes, it was December 1st, 1981, when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar scored a point that pushed him past the Big O on the scoring list. Later, of course, he would pass Big Wilt.
Yo, man, 3-on-3 at this tournament. We're going to play you guys 2-on-3.
Gentlemen, you need 3 men on this course, and he's next.
Can you handle the rock? Can you jump? Shoot, dribble, shoot? Not really. Can you pass? Yeah, I can pass. Oh, I'm serious. I want to shoot a little more next time. Next time.
Robinson, a subject we broached with Chris Dudley today.
The guys who were mentioned, I don't think were real happy about it, but it's just something that happened. It was unfortunate. You know, it's if things are said, they should be said in the locker room. They shouldn't be said to the press, and that was basically what was said. Is that you don't rip into other teammates in the media, and so that was kind of brought up.
Was that Chuck's message?
Yeah. Basically, is you don't take the dirty what a dirty laundry out in public. If you got something to say it to the person, but don't do it to the media.
Derek, he's an emotional guy, and sometimes he said something and he doesn't mean it. And I mean, I like playing with Derek, and if he says something about me, I just don't take that personally, and I just go out there and do my job, and I want to Derek be back as soon as he can.
There is shocking news from the NBA today. The winner of the Rookie of the Month award for November is Shaquille O'Neal. Meanwhile, Brooklyn native Mike Dunleavy named winner of Coach of the Month honors. The Cleveland Cavaliers have activated center Brad Daugherty. He will be ready to face the Knicks on Thursday night in Cleveland. Rookie center Jay Geidinger put on the injured list. But the move the Cavaliers want to make, they would like to trade Steve Kerr, possibly to Orlando for a draft choice. Cleveland is currently carrying 7 guards, and Kerr is the odd man out.
Well, we got 7 guys. We just have, it's a numbers problem. We have too many, and everybody can't get minutes, and Orlando had real interest in Steve, and, so as much as we hate to part with him, I feel that it'll help us so far as numbers are concerned, and certainly will give Steve a chance to play.
In other news today, Golden State rookie guard Keith Mr. Jennings will undergo major reconstructive knee surgery and miss the next 8 to 10 months. He was injured in a recent game November 19th against Orlando. And former Iona star guard Steve Burt, who's been bounced around since being waived from the NBA, has now been banned for life from playing in the Greek professional basketball leagues after testing positive for drugs. That may be the least of Mr. Burt's problems. Greek authorities plan to try him for possession of hashish and cocaine. Now stay tuned for New York Knicks basketball next here on MSG.
New York Knicks game night has been brought to you by
Portland, where they were crushed by the Trailblazers 109-94. Pat Riley voiced his displeasure following the game, referring to the Knicks' effort as being very, very soft and their worst game of the season. That may have been true up until Sunday night in Detroit, where the Knicks left their coach feeling miserable after losing to the Pistons by the score of 92-76. This time, Riley summed things up by saying, when not one player plays their game, you have to wonder about the intensity of the team. Tonight, Tonight, the Knicks return to the Garden, where Saturday's whipping of the Chicago Bulls left them as the NBA's only undefeated team at home. Pat Riley hopes that following tonight's return matchup with Portland, that'll have something pleasant to say. Another sellout crowd at Madison Square Garden. Better than 19,000 will be on hand. It's the 7th straight sellout with the New York Knicks getting ready to take on the Portland Trailblazers. Portland with the best record in the NBA at 9-2. They're on top of the Pacific Division by a game and a half over Seattle, while the Knicks at 8-5, and they trail, surprising Orlando by 1 game. The Knicks coming off the walloping in Detroit on Sunday night. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with John Andres. And John, what about that disastrous performance by the Knicks on Sunday as the follow-up to the terrific game here on Saturday afternoon against the Bulls? And the Knicks as a team are now shooting only 45%.
It was a disaster, as you say, Marv. A season low 76 points. And the Knicks have decided tonight, therefore, to make a change in the starting lineup. They're going to use Charles Smith out there for Tony Campbell. And Charles, of course, will be a very vital force, hopefully, against this very difficult team. Charles Smith's first start here for the Knicks. And they are coming off that season low, as I mentioned, of 76 points when they shot 37% against the Detroit Pistons, Marvin. Not only was it that game, which was so disappointing, but the last 9 games, the team has been shooting poorly while averaging only 93 points a game and only 45% from the field. So it's time for a change. And also, Marv, I think it's important to note that Tony Campbell's the kind of player that can deal with that. That's not going to be a problem for him.
Now, when the Knicks and the Blazers met in Portland 2 weeks ago, the easy win for Portland was sparked by the play of Cliff Robinson, who came off the bench, and he has made great strides this season. Cliff, of course, out of the University of Connecticut, and he is in the starting lineup tonight because Jerome Kersey is sidelined with a knee problem.
Yes, Jerome will be out for long, but they feel it's safer to rest him a little bit, and you don't lose anything with Cliff Robinson, as the Knicks found out in Portland. That's when it really turned around for Cliff Robinson. He was dynamite against the Knicks. He runs the court so well. He dunks easily. And what the Knicks have to be concerned about is this kind of play where he follows missed shots and rebounds and scores. He runs the court beautifully. And how about that jump shot he showed the Knicks out in Portland? And since they met, Marv, over the last 7 games, he has been scoring in an over 20-point-a-clip game and shooting at nearly 60% and also rebounding the ball very well. Cliff Robinson is a complete player. He's young, and the Knicks better not treat him like they treated Dennis Rodman the other day on the boards. He can score.
And for the Knicks, it is another major test as they go up against the 9-up, 2-down Portland Trailblazers here at the Garden. We'll be back with the lineups right after these words. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden, where the New York Knicks and the Portland Trailblazers are about to meet for the 2nd time this season. And we are set for the singing of America the Beautiful with a special guest artist tonight. John, couldn't they get a big name? The introduction of one Tony Bennett.
And tonight, singing America the Beautiful, please welcome our special guest, Columbia recording artist, Tony Bennett.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of green, for purple mountain majesties above thy fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Tony Bennett.
Little cameo appearance by Tony.
I think he might be invited back, Marv.
And in a moment, the introduction of the starting lineups.
Tonight's game features the Portland Trailblazers and your New York Knicks. Here tonight's starting lineups. First for the Blazers, at guard at 6'7" from Houston, number 22, Clyde Drexler. At guard at 6'3" from Wisconsin, Stevens Point, number 30, Terry Porter. At forward at 6'10" from Connecticut, number 3, Cliff Robinson. At forward at 6'8" from Maryland, number 52, Buck Williams. And at center at 7 feet from Eastern Illinois, number 00, Kevin Duckworth. The trainer is Mike Shemensky. Assistant coaches Jack Shallow and John Wetzel. And the head coach, Rick Adelman. And now, please welcome your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'6" from Kansas State, number 20, Rolando Blackman. At guard at 6'4" from Marquette, number 25, Doc Rivers. At forward at 6'10" from Pittsburgh, number 54, Charles Smith. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The head trainer is Mike Saunders, the assistant trainer Tim Walsh, assistant coaches Dick Harder and Jeff Van Gundy, and the head coach for the Knicks, Pat Riley.
Well, as mentioned earlier, a shuffle in the Knicks starting lineup. Tony Campbell, who has had his problems coming off the 0 for 7 against the Pistons at the Palace on Sunday night, sitting it out. And Charles Smith will be in the lineup. Earlier, John talked with Tony about his inconsistent play.
Well, right now I think I'm struggling a little bit offensively in terms of my jump shot from 18 feet. I think it's an adjustment that I'm making because a lot of times I've been playing, putting the ball on the floor, going to the hole. But it's something that I think with practice, with hard work, though, that I can overcome it. And I think for the overall team, we've also been struggling just from the outside in general. And just a matter of practice, just a matter of just playing, and I think all these wrinkles will eventually get ironed out.
With Tony Campbell, you don't detect any signs of being down. And that's what Pat Riley has to like about him. He's a very enthusiastic guy. He's up even when he's down.
He's up even when he's down.
May have to think that out, Marv.
I really will.
Sooner or later, we'll get through.
Yes. The officials, Jake O'Donnell, Ken Maurer, Ed F. Rush. Tonight's overhead camera shot brought to you by the Upper Deck Company. Nobody does basketball like Upper Deck. Doc Rivers controlling the opening tip. So Rivers and Blackman in the backcourt, and Smith is up front with Oakley and Ewing. And Smith goes right at Cliff Robinson. Rebounded by Robinson, and here comes Terry Porter. Crowd wanted a palm. Drexler and Duckworth is Portland off to the 2-0 lead.
That's where Duckworth hurts the most, from the foul line. That perimeter area, he's a fine open shooter.
Portland Trailblazers coming off the win over Sacramento on Sunday night. Here's Blackman, and he's tied the game at 2. Blazers at 9 up and 2 down. That win over the Sacramento Kings stopped a 2-game losing streak. Their first 2 losses of the season, back-to-back to the Lakers and the Suns.
Typically rush shot by Clyde Drexler.
Rivers played by Porter. Ewing facing the double team, popped it out. Here's Blackman for 3. Yes. Rolando Blackman converts from downtown, and the Knicks with a 5-2 lead.
What a good sign is on that shot, Marv. It hardly touched the net.
Buck Williams, guarded by Charles Oakley. Robinson rejected by Smith.
Mighty impressive. Robinson at 6'10" doesn't have his shot blocked much.
Here's Smith. Cliff Robinson, in his 4th season out of the University of Connecticut, is the 2nd leading scorer on the Blazers. Just under 17 per game. Drexler leading the way at 20.5. That's a forced shot. Duckworth able to get to it, though. Good play by Rivers, anticipating. Porter is back. Rivers goes right at him. Knicks 7, and the Blazers 2.
The main focus for the Knicks tonight is to be tough physically. After that embarrassment in Portland, Pat Riley summed it up by saying, "We were soft," and that's haunted the Knicks ever since.
And that is a charge on Porter.
Heads-up play by Doc Rivers, taking that ball out of Drexler's hand. Marv, I think the haircut helped him. You know,
yes.
He's moving a little quicker. Nicely finished also.
Don with another keen observation here in the early going. 2.5 minutes gone by. Blackman on a quick release. And Buck Williams with a dangerous pass, got away with it. Robinson for 3. Oh, he's been off here.
You know, all the criticism of the Trailblazers over the years, and they are a fine team, but the criticism is all showing. The reasons for the criticism has shown here tonight in the opening minutes.
And a rush shot by Oakley. Well, the criticism concerning Ewing call for the foul. The criticism concerning Portland revolves not about the ability of these guys, because in terms of the roster, it may be the strongest end-to-end in the league. And there's no question about the quality of the players, but when it comes to decisions, in particular down the stretch in important games, Drexler able to get it back. The basket will not count. He was fouled. And Phil Jackson made that statement last year that certainly was played over and over in Portland. Let's take another look at the foul committed by Smith. Phil saying that they will self-destruct, referring to the Blazers in big games. And as it turned out, they did give it away down the stretch to the Chicago Bulls in game number 6.
They had that game well in control, too, but they went out, led by this man, Rick Alleman, the head coach in the middle. They went out and they got some more talent. And we'll see Rod Strickland and Mario Elie before too long.
Certainly the Blazers have another point of view about that game 6. They say it wasn't a question of giving it away. It's that the Bulls pulled it out. You know, it's all a matter of semantics, but we've seen Portland in that situation on numerous occasions. And so they really have to win a championship to prove people wrong. Charles Smith looking very active here in the early going, but he stepped out.
The only fear about starting Charles Smith tonight is his propensity to pick up fouls quickly, and that's what the Knicks don't want to see. He's already got one.
Buck Williams took a shot. And for Patrick Ewing, that is his 2nd.
Patrick Ewing active around the basket, as he should be. And what a nice response by Buck Williams to the charge of Patrick Ewing.
This is only the 4th road game of the season for Portland. Early entry for Herb Williams as he comes on for Patrick Ewing. Herb Williams did not play at all Sunday in Detroit.
But in the closing moments of the Chicago game on Saturday, Herb Williams came out and did some nice things in limited time. And Pat Riley, of course, takes notice not only there, but what he does in practice. He's an accomplished player.
Smith got a piece of it. Smith leading the break, gives it up to Blackman. Rebound Oakley. Oakley failing with the putback. Here comes Drexler. And it's a charge. Offensive foul on Clyde Drexler with Herb Williams able to get position.
Well, in Pat Riley's book, Herb Williams just scored 4 points. He denied 2, and he gives the Knicks a chance for 2. Blackman distracted by the defense. I don't know what distracted Charles Oakley. That was a layup. That was easy.
John, you recall in the game in Portland between these two clubs, Clyde Drexler was called for 3 consecutive offensive fouls. A lot of rush shots at both ends. Not a good shot by Herb Williams. The Knicks 7 and the Blazers 5. Rivers, rebound Williams, and he blows the layup. Oakley hits and he's fouled.
Charles Oakley takes a slap on the back of the head, affectionately, from Herb Williams. Knicks alive on the boards. They're not soft now. Herb Williams, good job. Oakley. All right, Charles, how about a slap in the back of the head from Herb Williams? That followed. But the Knicks are strong on the boards here in the opening 5 minutes of this game. Different from their first meeting.
Oakley was only 3 of 10 from the line prior to hitting that free throw. Poor shooting by both teams here at the start. Knicks with a 10-5 lead. Porter called. No, it's a 3-second violation. I started to say this only the 4th road game this season for Portland. They have spent quite a bit of time at home where they won 7 and lost 1. Just the start of a stretch that will see Portland play 4 games in 5 days on this road trip. Blackman throwing the air ball. Blackman with the steal. Porter thought he had a teammate. 3-on-2. Smith. Oh, what a play by Charles Smith. Look away pass for Charles Oakley, and Rick Adelman wants to talk it over. The Knicks 12 and Portland 5.
Well, the memories of the Blazers' visit with the Knicks was vivid, and after that game, Pat Riley said we were very, very soft. By far our worst effort. So soft we didn't make a good defensive play all night. Not so right now. The Knicks are very active on the boards. Herb Williams in there. Charles Oakley finishing that last play, and they're alive.
6.5 to go in this first quarter. Knicks 12 and Portland 5. Duckworth setting up against Williams. Early entry by Herb Williams with Patrick Ewing picking up the 2 fouls. Porter with a 3-pointer. Terry Porter hits the 3.
14th one of the season. He's the main threat for the Trailblazers long range.
And you remember Porter getting the hot hand against the playoff series against Utah last season from 3-point land. Williams, yes. Herb Williams giving the Knicks a 14-8 lead. Robinson. Rebound, handled by Rivers. Good box out by Williams. We mentioned when we saw Herb Williams the other day against Chicago, I know you touched on this earlier, John, the fact that the first time that in a long while, as Charles Smith connects, that the Knicks could go to the bench and come up with quality as a backup center. Herb Williams, longtime member of the Indiana Pacers, then on to the Dallas Mavericks, and signed as a free agent by the Knicks.
Well, we're going to have to go back to the days of Charlie Tyree when we talk about solid backup people. You know?
Charlie Tyree? Who was the solid guy?
Just wanted to see if you were paying attention.
No, I always do on every word, John.
Charlie Tyree brings back happy memories of some of our prior conversations.
Oh, conversations, but Charlie had what would have to be labeled a checkered NBA career with the Knicks, coming over in a deal, as I recall, with Detroit. My grandfather used to tell me about the Tyree stories. Rivers. And rebounded by Robinson, protecting against Smith, who was looking for the strip. The Knicks 16, the Trailblazers 8. Drexler. Once again, Clyde just popping it up. Not a good shot.
Charles Smith off the boards. The worst part of it from the Blazers standpoint is there was no one in rebounding position when he took that shot. That's what happens when you rush shots.
Blackman, like that. A rush shot. Not a good one.
He seems to sense. What a pass. What a pass. I believe that was Porter, but there were 3 Trailblazers back there. Perfect pass.
Rod Strickland, the one-time Knick, getting set to check in. Smith.
That was a rush also because he had to pull back a little further than he wanted.
Knicks are not getting off good shots, although they lead 16-10. Drexler saw the opening, and the rebound snatched by Williams.
I get the feeling early here that Rolando feels he has to shoot every time. He's a scorer. He hasn't been scoring enough, and he's overreacting slightly to that call.
Blocking foul committed by Robinson. And here comes Rod Strickland, who's played well coming off the bench. For the Knicks, John Starks and Anthony Mason come on for Rolando Blackman. And Charles Smith. Smith played well, had only one field goal, but a block shot. Couple of rebounds. So Williams, Oakley, and Mason now up front. Starks. Yes. John Starks off the bench to drill it home. The Knicks 18, the Trailblazers 10 as we come up on 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Marv Albert with John Andres, Al Troutwood, Walt Clyde Frazier from the guard. Buck Williams, it counts, and the foul. Nice move by Buck going from left to right. And here comes Greg Anthony for Doc Rivers.
Boy, it looked like Oakley played him perfectly. Let's look for the foul here. All right, Mr. Referee, do you see contact there?
I took a little push.
Just because Jake O'Donnell made it, you get the ultimate respect?
Jake, if Jake said it, it happened.
Oh, boy.
3-point play for Buck Williams. The Knicks 18 and the Blazers 13. Anthony and Starks now in the backcourt. Mason, Oakley, and Williams up front. Starks for three. Starks on the save. Williams for Mason. Oh, nicely done.
Save was quite nice, but what was most impressive was Herb Williams' reaction to the open man.
The Knicks lead is now 7. Drexler. Clyde really forcing the issue. Anthony using the screen. Shot clock at 8. 5. Anthony. Well, he thought he had less time. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. And a timeout has been called with 2:07 left in this first quarter. A moment ago, and we mentioned earlier that Rod has played well for Portland, and he has done it coming off the bench, a subject that John discussed with Rod before tonight's game.
Rod, at one point in your career, particularly here in New York, starting was a big issue, as you, I'm sure, remember. Is it different now?
Yeah, it's different. I mean, I was first in the, just getting in the league and a little high-strung probably, and, started playing well and wanted to play more, so, but, it's different. It's 5 years later, and, it's a great opportunity with a great team to fit in with them and try to help them win. And, I looked at that side of I looked at that in the situation, and I felt it was good for me.
Well, a different point of view from Rod Strickland, giving the idea that he has matured, and this is 5th NBA season.
27 minutes a game he has been playing this year, and he leads the team in assists and steals.
There's Duckworth. Mason with the box out. The Knicks 20 and the Blazers 13. A minute 35 remaining in this first quarter. Pat Riley has Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Williams, Oakley, and Mason up front.
Three.
Herb Williams banking it home. A very impressive outing for Herb Williams. And this is most meaningful play as a New York Knick. The Knicks 22, Portland 13. Mario Elie, who just checked in. Elie played well against the Knicks in Portland 2 weeks ago.
Charles Oakley in traffic, scooping things up.
And that is a trap. That was a tough pass to handle on the move.
Yes, you've got to be judicious when you give big men the ball when they're moving, unless they're very close to the hoop. You know, Marv?
It's good word, John.
I try.
Judicious. Mario Elie was a question mark for tonight because of a sprained left ankle. Jerome Kersey is out, tendonitis of the left knee. Here's Drexler in a one-on-one, rejected by Williams. Knicks have a 4-on-2. Starks to Mason. Mason with the spin on Elie. And a foul is called. Ken Maurer, the outside official, indicating a knee given by Mario Elie.
Well, the applause is for Herb Williams. And that's the reason why. He hung around and waited for the opportunity, and it gave the Knicks a scoring chance, and everybody came over and patted him on the back.
Both teams have 4 fouls. 30 seconds remaining, first quarter. Starts with the fake on Drexler. Basket counts, and the foul is called away from the ball. And it's on Portland. Loose ball foul charged to Buck Williams.
From our upper deck trading card cam, we will see John Starks with a soft touch. Buck Williams got a hold of Charles Oakley. He might not have realized it. There's so much contact between big guys.
So Oakley will look to complete a 3-point play. And he's 2 of 2 from the line. The Knicks 25, Blazers 13, down to 20 seconds to go in this opening quarter. Starks playing Drexler. Williams over to help. Good switching by the Knicks. Duckworth. And Drexler and Mason have words. Buck Williams steps between. Oakley called for the foul. You rarely see Clyde Drexler get involved.
I was thinking earlier, Marv, I don't think I've ever seen him angry. He's such a cool guy, and it is unusual to point out.
Kevin Duckworth shooting a pair. He is only a 56% free throw shooter. Now here's Cliff Robinson replacing Buck Williams.
I got everything, man.
6 6/10 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Oakley was looking to unleash time running down. Starks from Mason. Too late. After 1, it's the Knicks 25. The Portland Trailblazers 14.
Before with Anthony Mason and Clyde Drexler under the basket. I think that right arm on Drexler's chest might have bothered him from Anthony Mason, and he let Anthony know about it, but it didn't go any further than that.
Clyde Drexler sitting down. Mark Bryant has come on, and Robinson hits to open up the second quarter. Mark Bryant, product of Seton Hall in his 5th NBA season, played extremely well against the Knicks in Portland. 4 of 16 for the Blazers in the first quarter. The Knicks only 39%, but still able to take that 11-point lead. Patrick Ewing playing with 2 fouls, making his return, and he's stripped. 14 points by the Blazers in the first quarter is a season low for Portland. Elie will go to the line. He was hacked. Starks called for his first.
Well, the Knicks greeted Chicago the other day with allowing them only 16 points in the first quarter. You get back to the game against the Boston Celtics on November 14th, Marv. The Celtics had 13 points in the one of those quarters, and Knicks have been able on occasion to keep people way down.
The season low, though, the Nets held to 11. So Portland with only 14 points in the first quarter. Knicks now lead it by the count of 25-18. We're just getting underway in the second quarter. Here's some light pressure being shown by the Blazers. Ewing, Mason, and now Smith up front. Starks and Anthony in the backcourt. Ewing to the drop step, and he's fouled by Robinson. Good fake by Patrick Ewing. Robinson called for his second foul.
This match now favoring Ewing, and that fake got Robinson off his feet, and he wanted to punish Patrick and let him know he's going to use the foul up and create some physical play there.
Cliff Robinson last year averaged 12 points a game and got many of the fourth quarter minutes at the expense of Kevin Duckworth, and has been getting even more playing time this season. The Knicks 26 and the Blazers 18. Rod Strickland and Mario Elie now. And Terry Porter on the floor. A three-guard alignment being utilized by Rick Adelman. Oh, Strickland going in and out. He had to pop that high over the outstretched hand of Patrick Ewing. Mason guarded by Porter. Starks. And the Knicks get another possession. Ewing. Ewing now being guarded by Bryant. And Mark Bryant with the rebound.
Good play by the Knicks, though. They shared the ball well, and they found the open man.
Walking foul on Starks. Here's Buck Williams making his return. And Cliff Robinson will sit down. Blazers staying with a smaller lineup, although Mario Elie goes about 6'5", 210 pounds. Excellent free throw shooter, 85% last year with Golden State. Up over 80% this year.
That first shot he made shows you what a soft touch he has.
Oops, oops.
Always do it.
Good call, John.
Marvin, your head was down. I just want to point out the ball hit the rim about 5 times before it went in that first one.
It will be Nick Ball, deflected out by Portland. Second meeting of the season between these two clubs. Last year they split 2. Portland winning 2 weeks ago in Portland. Strickland showing his quickness and then feeding Bryant. Offensive foul, a charge on Bryant.
Greg Anthony and Patrick Ewing are on the same page on the pick and roll. Anthony failed to get that ball into Ewing successfully as it was defensed well. Bryant comes charging in and commits the offensive foul. John Starks did a good job.
Here is Strickland. And is rebounded by Ewing, and he's fouled by Strickland. Rod going for the steal. Second team foul committed by Portland.
Talking to Rick Adelman before the game about Rod Strickland, he said he does not have the responsibility to carry this team. We don't want him to be a superstar. We made that clear to him. Just do his thing, and he'll be fine. Well, a 6-year contract came Rod Strickland's way, and he couldn't be happier.
Mason off the fake. The Knicks 28, Portland 19. Ewing jumping out. Porter was looking for the mismatch. Starks knocking it away. Came up with a steal. Goes all the way. And the Blazers on a break. Here's Elie. Strickland hustled it down. Rebounded by Ewing. 3-on-2. Anthony with a gorgeous fake. Oh, he went right at Mark Bryant. And Bryant went for the head fake. Their 7th home game. Shot clock at 4. Ewing with the block on Bryant. Anthony ahead of the field.
He wanted to give it to Ewing, but he made the right decision.
20-second timeout called by the Blazers.
The alert hands of the Knicks. Patrick Ewing on that play. Starks on the deflection. Anthony knows Ewing is with him, but he had the clear path to the basket, and he took it and finished it. Upper deck look now. Charles Smith also active on that play. The Knicks big men are very active. You can really see the advantage Anthony had from the upper deck cam.
So the Knicks have opened up a 15-point lead. Clyde Drexler checking back in for the Blazers, who are shooting only 22%. They're 5 of 23 from the field.
Well, the advantage the Knicks have across the front line in every case works. The Knicks front line, forwards and center, are taller than the Blazers.
And Herb Williams came off the bench to provide a big lift earlier after Ewing picked up the 2. Porter did get it away in time. That was the 24-second buzzer you heard. Ewing played by Bryant. Moves it up to Mason. Nice ball movement. There Starks the 3. Yes! The Knicks with a 37-19 lead. Nice moves by Charles, but not able to hit the shot.
You know what's most impressive about that last play to me? How Mason caught that fast pass and delivered it right away to the next man. Catching the ball is not automatic.
Foul committed by Charles Smith. Kevin Duckworth back. Mark Bryant departs. Cliff Robinson returns. Coming on for Mario Elie. It has been all Knicks in this first half. Drexler. Starks. Thought he was fouled. Here's Drexler on the move. Fouled up. Lost it to Anthony. He went 1-on-2. Starks. And rebounded by Buck Williams. Robinson getting down and falling down. Starks going for the ball. Ties him up.
Good play by the official. Rather than let the players scramble and hurt each other, he called that jump ball right away. He recognized that so well. Big play by Greg Anthony as Clyde Drexler, one of the best in the open court, is denied by the fast hands of Greg Anthony.
Clyde Drexler, 1 of 6 from the field, and his next good shot will be his first. So cruel. So true, John. I know, but cruel. Life is cruel. It's a 3-on-2. Starks. Starks has had some good opportunities after hitting that 3. It'll be Portland ball. 5.5 remaining in this first half. Rolando Blackman getting set to check in. Drexler. Well, the Blazers, as you saw, have not been able to convert a field goal in 7 minutes plus. Saturday, the Bulls went 9.5 minutes without a field goal over one stretch. Oakley returns along with Blackman.
Trailblazers made their first field goal of this quarter thanks to our second-in-command statistician tonight, Al Troutwick, and they have not made one since. But the Knicks know about that, Marv. As you remember the other night in Detroit, the Knicks won for a stretch of 10 minutes and 47 seconds between the third and fourth quarter without a field goal.
Knicks lead 37-20. Smith battling for position with Robinson. Charles Smith, who started the game tonight. For Charles, his first start as a Knick. Tony Campbell, coming off the 0 for 7 and the poor shooting right throughout the season, has not played to this point. Porter with the fake, and he drew the foul. Ball fake by Terry Porter. And he was hit by Charles Smith. That is 3 on Smith, so Pat Riley has a decision right here, and he'll go with Anthony Mason.
In 3 of the last 4 games the Portland Trailblazers have played, they have shot field goals at 42% and lower. So they have had major problems shooting the ball. The Knicks know what that feeling is like without a perimeter game working, and that's what's happened to the Trailblazers here tonight. Again, they are in a bad pattern of shooting the basketball.
Rare miss by Porter, a 92% free throw shooter among the leaders. That is most unusual for Terry Porter. 1 of 12 from the field in the second quarter. Portland at 18% for the half, with 4.5 remaining. Knicks by 19 points. Oakley. It was the screaming defense of Terry Porter, I think, that affected Charles on that shot. Little schoolyard technique by Terry. Porter gives it back to Duckworth. And Ewing with the rebound. Anthony with the head fake. Well, that worked earlier.
Knicks getting a little wild like the Trailblazers.
A nice pass from Drexler setting up Duckworth. And finally, the Blazers able to convert a field goal. The Knicks with a 39-22 lead. It will be Portland ball. Doc Rivers checking back in. And Greg Anthony leaves. Played well. Leaves with 2 field goals, 4 points, couple of steals. Drexler being guarded by Blackman. And the foul is called on Oakley. That's 3 on Oakley, 3 apiece on Smith and Oakley. Well, we have rechecked it with the statistical crew. Apparently they made an error earlier when we said the Blazers had gone 7 minutes without a field goal. The official count, 7:37 without a field goal for Portland, which from the Portland point of view is dismal. They are now down 39-23. Only 14 points in the first quarter, only 9 here in the second. Timeout has been called. We'll be back in a moment.
When tonight's game join the PA announcer here at Allen Fieldhouse, Howard Hill.
Coming to the University of Kansas from Lawrence High, Danny was the 1988 Consensus College Basketball Player of the Year.
We pointed out earlier, Pat Riley felt his team was soft in Portland. And the numbers reflected that, as shown by our Dutch boy in the paint numbers. 28 rebounds. The Knicks were severely out-rebounded. Tonight, it's a different story. The Blazers are catching up slowly, but the Knicks are out in front in the all-important rebounding department against a team that lives by running, and you don't run without the rebounds, and the Knicks are denying them much better than they did in Portland.
So Buck Williams cuts it to 39-24. 3:15 remaining in this first half. Marv Albert, John Andres out front with Walt Frazier from the guard. As Rolando Blackman shows the touch, he has 7 points, and the Knicks back to a 17-point advantage.
Rivers is starting to get to know Blackman, where he'll be when he comes down court.
When Rolando was going through those injuries during training camp, that's the major concern of Doc Rivers. Duckworth Things looking a little smoother for the Blazers the last couple of minutes.
What a lovely move by the 7-foot Duckworth. Light on his feet.
3 seconds! 3 seconds! 3 seconds!
Mason back out for Blackman. Goes to the runner and had it rejected. Shot clock at 4. Mason to the reverse. What a move by Anthony Mason with the 24-second clock running down. Knicks lead 43-26. Porter lost it to Rivers. 4-on-2 for the Knicks. Oh! Rivers from Mason. The basket counts. A gorgeous pass by Doc Rivers.
Rivers got beat, but he hung in on the play and took the ball. Watch this pass. He sizes things up. Didn't indicate it by his eyes, but he saw Mason.
2 minutes. The goaltend providing Mason with his 4th field goal. He's 4 of 4 from the field. He has 8 points. Knicks lead 45-26. Duckworth again. And he felt he was fouled. He had something to say to Jake O'Donnell in low-key fashion. Tony Campbell over at the scorer's table getting set to come on for the first time. Blackman trying to get it to Mason. Porter throwing one behind Williams.
Run left to Buck Williams' face.
And here is Tony Campbell, who did not start tonight for the first time this season.
You know what's important now, Marv, and that is for Tony Campbell to do some good things while he's in here. If he should have difficulty, I think he could get into a real down mental frame of mind. Bad enough he's coming off the bench from his perspective, but now he's got to add something.
Rivers turning it over. Tony Campbell with the 0 for 7 against the Pistons on Sunday night. And it's a tough matchup against the taller Cliff Robinson. Coming up on 1 minute remaining, first half. First half that has seen Clyde Drexler go 1 for 7, only 5 points. Duckworth has been the offense for Portland.
He is wheeling and dealing successfully.
He's 5 of 7. He has 11 points. And the Knicks now lead 45-30. Patrick Ewing with his second field goal. He has 5. The Knicks 47, Portland 30. They double up on Porter. Robinson for 3. And last touch by Ewing. Ball goes back to Portland with 32 seconds remaining in the half. The Blazers with only 14 points in the first quarter, and they've been held in check here in the second. They're 9 for 34, shooting only 26%, and they've had to rally to get to 26, led by Duckworth, who this time has called for a travel. The Blazers' low this season was 40 points against the Lakers in the first half. And they are looking at a new low, only 30 points with 15 seconds remaining in the half. Knicks by 17, holding for a final shot. Blackman fires one up. So at the half here at the Garden, the Knicks are hearing it from the crowd. They walk off with a 47-30 lead on the Portland Trailblazers. Coming up at halftime, Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk. And then Alan Walt will take a look back at some of these first half highlights.
Over the Portland Trailblazers, holding the Blazers to 14 in the first quarter, 16 in the second. The Knicks are living with defense and rebounding. The only thing is, if the Knicks had a better shot selection scheme, they'd be up by a lot more. We'll be back with more with Walt Frazier, but first, let's go to Bob Page.
Thanks, Al. Good evening again, everybody. As Cleveland nears a trade for guard Steve Kerr, the odd man out in what has become a 7-man backcourt rotation, the Cavs today activated Brad Daugherty. He'll be ready to face the Knicks in Cleveland on Thursday night. He was in the starting lineup tonight for Cleveland, which now leads Boston by 2 at halftime. Doherty had missed the last 9 with a knee problem. Cavs 3 and 6 in his absence. Looked good in the opening quarter. On the break, Doherty takes the pass from Price, goes in for the jam. Boston still led by 1 going into the second stanza. Their ex-Knick Gerald Wilkins finds Hot Rod Williams cutting through the lane. Boston's lead was now 2. Wacky play towards the end of the half. Xavier McDaniel drives, misses the shot. Mark Price gets the basketball. Sherman Douglas.
All right, back at the Garden, we head to the fourth quarter. Knicks with a 73-54 lead. Let's go over to Al.
Marv, of course, everyone who was with us knew that it was a very special beginning to tonight's game. Mr. Tony Bennett, how did you decide between America the Beautiful and the national anthem, Mr. Bennett?
Well, just as a tunesmith, I happen to like America the Beautiful. I think, to me, this is it's the magnificent song, you know, and I love singing it because, you know, it's all the beautiful parts of America. It's about what America's all about.
You'll be on live from the play-by-play later?
Yes, I will.
Great, thanks very much, and we're happy to have you here. Back to you, Marv.
All right, now loose ball foul is called as this fourth quarter unravels. Tony Campbell called for the foul, his first. The Portland Trailblazers now line up with Duckworth, Bryant, and Murray up front. Blazers 14 points in the first quarter, 16 in the second, and a 24-point third quarter. And that was Tracy Murray, who has the beautiful shot. 6'8" rookie from UCLA getting some playing time. Rick Adelman looking for some offense. Mason backing on Bryant and then is rejected and tied up.
I can't help but comment how Tracy Murray has a facial resemblance to me, to Reggie Miller, two UCLA ex-greats and long-range bombers.
Slight resemblance. John, actually, I don't see it at all.
Really?
Williams off a nice feed. And the Knicks now lead 75-56. In fact, John.
Now, come on now.
I think the only thing they have in common is that they both went to UCLA.
Oh, well, Reggie Miller's skinnier, but I think there's a resemblance.
Here's Duckworth battling hard to get the shot away, and Herb Williams is called for the foul. Charles Smith reporting back in. He has 4 fouls. And he's replacing Tony Campbell, who did not score.
You ever seen Reggie Miller, Marv?
In fact, I carry his photo in my wallet. John, you know, it is not close.
I'll stay with it. I want to vote.
Call Tracy over. He'll think you're nuts.
I've had one person agree with me.
Minute and a half gone by in the fourth quarter. Knicks lead at 75-56. They've led by as many as 23. Smith with a pretty feed. Setting up Williams. Herb Williams with 8 points. Strickland pitches it back out. 3-point attempt. Here's Starks, fouled by Murray. So Tracy Murray called for his first, and John Starks will go to the line.
Charles Smith doesn't have big numbers in this game, but he's doing a lot of good things. What a pretty pass inside.
Starks on the line for the first time. He has 14 points. 19,763 here at the Garden. 7 home games for the Knicks, and this their 7th sellout. Well, Starks continues the strong free throw shooting, 90%.
Pat Riley, excuse me, Marv, also being very generous in Starks' direction, giving him lots of time here in the second half.
It will be Nick Paul. Appears to be one of those nights for the Trailblazers, who had dropped 2 in a row after opening up with 8 straight wins and then beat Sacramento on Sunday. And Smith extends to an 81-56 lead. Timeout called by the Blazers as the Knicks are greeted by a standing ovation. 30 of 56. Dan McDonald, the senior sales support manager for Sharp, making the presentation, and Sharp presenting a color television and VCR to the charity of Charles Oakley's choice. Knicks with an 81-56 lead. Portland with only 32% shooting for the game. Murray once again. So Tracy Murray, the non-Reggie Miller lookalike, coming off the bench to hit a couple.
I've canvassed 2 people and they agree with me.
You've canvassed them. 3 minutes gone by here in the 4th quarter, and a reach-in called on Bryant.
Well, defense of the Portland Trailblazers trying desperately to stop the Knicks.
Smith's back tap handled by Strickland. Here is Bryant. Mark Bryant was a major factor in the Blazers' victory over the Knicks 2 weeks ago. He has not received the playing time tonight. The Knicks 81 and Portland 60. Clyde Drexler is sitting for a long spell. Has not had a good one tonight. 4 of 12. Bad shot selection early. Strickland. And rescued by Starks. Pops it down for 2-on-1. Again, Anthony to the ball fake move. He was able to pull it off in the first half, and he does it right here. Clyde Drexler was called a question mark for tonight's game because of a sore left foot. Bryant and the Knicks now lead 83-62. Blazers without Jerome Kersey, bothered by tendonitis of the left knee, sitting it out once again. Sat out against Sacramento the other day. Rookie Hubert Davis getting set to check in. Starks rejected. Strickland in a race with Anthony. And foul. Anthony felt that Strickland lost his footing, but the foul is called on Greg Anthony. And here's Hubert Davis making his first appearance of the game.
Meanwhile, Strickland's taking a long time to get up from what Greg Anthony thought was an unfoul.
Nice job by John Starks. Sits down with 15 points.
Starks getting rejected as he headed for the hoop. Strickland at 6'3", a little taller than Anthony, sinks his body into him. And the replay shows Greg Anthony had good reason to react the way he did, as Strickland leaned into the defense so much so that he seemed to take himself off balance.
Strickland only a 70% free throw shooter. Smith and Duckworth off the boards.
Smith's so anxious to show his perimeter game.
Charles 4 of 10 from the field. Ellie couldn't handle that lead pass and then recaptured. Duckworth might have taken an extra step. He was rejected. And a foul on Duckworth. Well, Kevin Duckworth preventing the Knick fast break. 13 foul committed by Portland.
Watch Duckworth's defense now. Grab that waist. Get that shirt. Not a subtle foul.
The Knicks have led by as many as 25. They have led right throughout. Mason giving the Knicks an 85-62 lead.
Mason dealt out some punishment on his way to the basket.
And here is Anthony off the steal. Beating Davis. Hubert Davis joining the scoring column.
Anthony tried to fake on Strickland. It didn't work, so he gave it up wisely.
Portland calling for timeout.
Gerald Wilkins on the break to Mike Sanders, who lays it in to make it a 16-point Cavs lead in the fourth. Now down to 11 over Boston.
And it's the Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers on Thursday, starting with Knicks game night, 7 o'clock, here on the MSG Network.
Bob, did you realize that this young fellow, Pat Riley, wore a Portland Trailblazers uniform once?
Yes, I did.
Did you? There he is. Here's a look at Pat Riley.
I saw this being rehearsed earlier.
No, you didn't. You're lying, and you don't know. You had no idea. And I'll tell you, just so you won't feel too bad, he was selected by the Portland Trailblazers in an expansion draft, 1970, and sold before he got a chance to play for them to the Lakers in October. It was a very odd summer for Pat Riley, a Blazer, then a Laker. Isn't it nice to continue to learn something new every day, Marv?
John's fact for the night. The irony of that, it's just got me mystified, John, how you come up with these things.
You took that so well.
It's a 24-second violation. We have 5:40 remaining in this fourth quarter. The Knicks 87 and the Blazers 62. And the call away from the ball with Ellie looking for position against Davis. Davis called for the foul.
Well, it was a 37-point game the Knicks enjoyed against Chicago Saturday. This game started out strongly for the Knicks, and the character of the game hasn't changed at all. The Knicks have maintained their energy level, their effectiveness. And you know what's impressive, Marv? It's not like they're shooting the eyes out of the basket like they did Saturday against Chicago.
Oh, Smith blowing the stuff. Here is Murray. Duckworth on the follow. Well, it's one of those games where you certainly have to credit the Knicks defensive effort, but you wonder, is it the poor Portland shooting and the, at times, ridiculous shot selection, or is it the Knicks defensive play? Here is Smith. Remember, some of the Knicks shot selection early was not wonderful.
Even now it's not wonderful, and it would be severely criticized if they didn't have this lead. They're shooting at 44% as a team for this game so far. Against the Bulls, it was 54. You got the feeling that everything they shot, whoever shot the ball, was going in at a very high rate, and it was. Tonight's a different game against a very good team. And it's got to make Pat Riley and the coaching staff feel very good because they've been so active and alive.
That is Dave Johnson, the rookie out of Syracuse, checking in for the first time. And Reggie Smith, 6'11" rookie out of Texas Christian, checking in, and the crowd reacting because Eric Anderson is about to come on. So Pat Riley has used the entire squad. Eric, the rookie from Indiana, who had not played the last two games. Last game action came in Minnesota last Wednesday. He has appeared in only 3 games prior to tonight. So Eric Anderson on the floor. Knicks lead it 87-65. Here's Anthony coming off the pick and hit.
What a move and a half that was. It preceded that shot. He did a lot of things.
10 points for Anthony Johnson. And it's tipped home by Duckworth. Dave Johnson and Reggie Smith have not played the last 4 games. Have seen very little daylight in their first NBA season. Williams getting down low, getting the good position. Anderson with the tip. Herb Williams. Campbell gets to it. Anderson hustling with Johnson. And Jake O'Donnell with a loose ball foul call on Anderson.
Fans applauding, Pat Riley applauding Anderson's aggressiveness.
So Dave Johnson to the line. Johnson, Portland's second pick on the first round. So the Blazers emptying the bench here in the final minutes. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the game. And the Knicks with the big lead. Anthony all the way. Rebounded by Bryant. Basket counts and the foul. Tracy Murray will go to the line. Anderson called for the foul.
Murray finished that move with a flourish and some words in the direction of Anderson. Upper deck trading card cam view. Anderson going in. Not only long range shooting for him. Nice finish to that move.
Knicks about to end a 3-game losing streak to the Blazers here at the Garden. Their last win over Portland in New York, March of '89. Once again, Herb Williams with a nifty move. Herb Williams with 10 points. And John, you look back at this game, and it was one of the key factors for the Knicks, the good play of Herb Williams early. Murray with a 3-point attempt. Herb Williams came on for Patrick Ewing after Ewing picked up the 2 fouls in the early moments. Here's Johnson for 3. And a loose ball foul called.
Yes, Marv, the early start was key. And Rick Edelman not happy, as you would expect, beginning a 4-game road trip that continues tomorrow night at Indiana and then Friday in Chicago. And then Saturday at Cleveland. They have a rough week ahead, and this is a terrible way for a team that expects to win the World Championship to show their stuff in New York in their once-a-year visit.
Williams backing Bryant. And Reggie Smith with the rebound. Reggie Smith, second-round draft pick out of Texas Christian. Johnson. Knicks now lead 91-73.
You know, Marv, talking about the Knicks' fine start tonight really gets back once again to the mental part of this sport, which the Knicks did not do well. Hubert Davis on Sunday following their big explosive win on Saturday. But tonight, boy, were they focused, and they have maintained it all the way.
Yes, what disturbed Pat Riley in particular in the game against Detroit, he felt that the Knicks just were not into it. He had asked the players the morning of the game. Bryant. And the Knicks now lead 93-75. Pretty feed for Campbell. Knocked away. Anthony tried to hit it. Anderson. And a foul called on Williams. Pat Riley asked the Knicks players the morning of the game against Detroit, do you guys know who starts for the Pistons? And he said no one knew, but they could tell you who starts for Chicago. That may tell you about the mental preparation of the players for the Pistons game. I'm sure they could mention a couple of guys, but they might not have known the entire starting lineup of a Detroit club that has done some shuffling. They had lost 7 in a row going into that game with the Knicks.
You know, that's a very good question, and a typical professorial approach that Pat Riley brings. But if every coach in the NBA asked their team who's starting tonight as our opponent, I don't think the marks would be 100%, which a coach expects they should be.
Yeah, that would be discouraging to find out your guys don't know the starting team of the club you're opposing. Holding foul on Reggie Smith. Blazers now over the foul limit, so Eric Anderson goes to the line. Clyde Drexler had a long night, 4-12, 14 points. And Eric Anderson hears it from the crowd. He is 2 of 3 in his NBA career from the line. So Saturday, Michael Jordan at 4 for 20. Came up hobbling with a leg injury and then made his return to the action, but had a very tough day. And Clyde Drexler with poor decisions in the early going, and he ends up sitting out most of the second half.
Crowd has made Eric Anderson feel welcome with their reaction to him making his 2 foul shots.
Long-range 3-point attempt by Murray. Bryant with the rebound. 8 points for Bryant. Knicks now lead 95-73. 79. It has been extensive garbage time here at the Garden. Here is Anderson. Rebound Williams. Knicks 97. Blazers 79. 12 points for Herb Williams.
Marv, this sets up Thursday night very interestingly for the Knicks. Brad Daugherty back for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Can the Knicks put two together now? A strong one at home and the next one on the road. At least they'll have a day in between this time. They didn't have that this past weekend.
Anderson called for the foul, sending Strickland to the line. So the Knicks will go to 9-5. 5 wins the last 6 games. They move within a half game of Orlando. The Orlando Magic playing later tonight against the Supersonics in Seattle. Orlando at 8-3, and they have won 3 in a row. Under a minute remaining in the game. Davis working off the screen. Yes. Hubert Davis has hit 3 of 3 for 6 points. Knicks 99, the Blazers 81. And for Portland, it'll be 3 losses their last 4 games. Foul called on the Knicks. It's on Williams. The Knicks, this a good stretch, 6 of the next 7, including tonight here at Madison Square Garden. The only road game over that hall Thursday against the Cavaliers in Richfield.
The only kick left for the fans tonight is to see if the Knicks can get over 100 for the second time in the last 10 games.
Reggie Smith with the tip home. Knicks lead 99-83. Yes, that's what the crowd is involved with right here. Anderson off a beautiful pass from Davis. Here's Campbell. So the Knicks go over 100. 101-83. Down to 10 seconds. Here's Murray. Campbell called for the foul.
How about the sustained reaction by the fans here? A happy crowd, a happy sellout, Marv.
So Murray to the free throw line.
Our Old Spice leaders point out that the Knicks have beaten the best over the last 4 seasons. Chicago and Portland, the best records, have fallen here at the Garden.
All right, final seconds, 16-point lead. Murray with the steal, 3-point attempt. The Knicks over the Portland Trailblazers by the score of 101-85. So the Knicks with a record of 9-5, and they move a half game behind Orlando. Orlando playing later on against Seattle, and Portland drops to 9-3, and they have lost 3 of their last 4. The Portland Trailblazers with a very poor shooting performance. And the Knicks get a split on the season series. We'll be back in a moment.
101 and the Blazers 85. Right now, the team of Cannon Technology and MCS Service bring you the great teamwork moment. One is a great reason to buy the other. MCS Cannon. We'll take you back and show you one of the themes of tonight's game, and you could clearly see the Knicks are getting the message. Look for the extra pass around the perimeter here. Eventually, Anthony Mason will try to look inside. That doesn't go, and eventually the Knicks wind up getting that jump shot, but clearly there are 3, 4, 5 passes, and that was going on consistently for the Knicks. Welcome back to the Garden, everybody. Al Trautwig in our post-game coverage beginning now. A very big win for the New York Knicks tonight, but you really have to wonder what some of the shooting is involved in far as selection goes. Rolando Blackman, 4 of 12. Charles Smith, 4 of 12. John Stark, 6 of 17, but I guess those are numbers on the stat sheet that the Knicks can forget for now. They have taken it to the Bulls on Saturday. They have taken it to the Trailblazers here tonight at the Garden. The Knicks remaining the only NBA team undefeated at home. Knicks 101, the Portland Trailblazers 85, and a romp from the very beginning at Madison Square Garden. Now, the storyline for the Knicks was in the middle. Patrick Ewing getting 2 quick fouls in the first quarter. Pat Riley did not hesitate to go to Herb Williams. And Herb, you got another warm reception from the crowd. But tonight, at a time when the Knicks needed you, you did it again. And you've shown over the past few games that when Pat Riley calls your number, you are prepared to play. And yet you don't know on any given night how many minutes you're going to get. Has that been tough?
No, it hasn't been tough because Pat explained that to me before I even came here. When I talked to him earlier in the year before they signed me, he said my minutes probably would be random. So I got to be ready each and every night and try to keep myself in shape and keep sharp mentally. That's the most important thing because you never know when you're going in. So you have to be mentally tough and ready to go out there and play in the situation.
Was this exceptionally satisfying? Was it your best moment as a Knick tonight?
I think so, and plus beating the Portland Trailblazers.
Right.
They're one of the best teams in the league. They beat us pretty good up there in Portland, and we wanted to return the favor here tonight, and we wanted to protect our home court, and we needed this win against a good team.
Herb, thanks for coming out of the locker room. Congratulations on a big win tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that's Herb Williams tonight. Just a quick look at the stat sheet for Herb. 12 points, 6 of 12 from the floor, 8 rebounds. He is the classic Coke player of the game. Herb Williams, this award brought to him by Coca-Cola Classic. Enjoy all the Knicks excitement with Coca-Cola Classic. You can't beat the real thing. A taste of Herb Williams' performance tonight. Spinning to the baseline was Charles Smith. Inside was Herb Williams. Running without the ball, a big part of the game.
Wait till February.
And now Pat Riley meets the media.
You know, one of the reasons why Charles did not start early is because he was not in condition to do the things that we wanted at a 3 spot, and now I think he's in better shape, and he understands what we want more. So he gives us more size and more offensive ability, I think, across the front line. So let's just see.
The fact that Tony only played, I don't know, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it was very, very few.
Yeah.
Is that going to be something that's...
I don't know. You know, it's just I just went with that flow. I'd like to rotate 8 players, 9 players a game, not 10. You know, and if somebody needs, you know, like we got in foul trouble early, so Herb got in early, and I thought he did a great job for us tonight. And you know, so you go into the game thinking about 8.5 or 9 men that you're going to play that evening, and then, but you may need a 10th in foul trouble or something like that. So, but that's, you have to get to that kind of rotation somewhere along the way, and somebody's going to have to sacrifice.
With Charles starting, does Herb now move up as maybe a backup behind Patrick? Or?
Maybe. You know, I can still see Charles and Oak playing the 5 spot, Charles Smith playing the 5 spot. So you got to give 4 or 5 guys meaningful minutes every single night. You know, we're playing a lot of guys. I mean, guys are playing 20 minutes a game, 10 guys, and you know, so there shouldn't be anybody on this team that's really unhappy because they're getting their minutes. But I don't know if that translates into real efficiency, you know, for the individual and also for the team. So we just have to work that out.
You said earlier that you thought maybe Charles almost had outgrown that small forward position. What has he shown you that makes you comfortable?
Well, he's gotten in very good condition, and you know, we started him out basically as a 4-man, as a power forward, and he, you know, he slides to the 5 spot, but he does have some real versatility that I began to see in practice, and as long as he can continue to get in better condition and think a little quicker in transition, a little quicker with our perimeter game, then I think he could be a real factor as a 3-man. So I said he outgrew the 3 spot when he came to training camp at 255 pounds, but at 240 he's good, you know, so he's in real good shape now.
Pat, did you learn anything more about Herb Williams tonight?
Yeah, long arms. I like length. He's got real length. Veteran player, just class guy. He has one objective, you know, in his life right now, and he wants to be part of a team that can win. I think he's going to give us some real good minutes this year. You know, I don't know how much he'll be in the rotation or not, but it's like tonight. You know, you need him. He's going to give you smarts. He's going to give you something in the post that maybe we haven't had here for a number of years.
5 scores in double figures.
The Coaches Conference brought to you by Air France. Ask the world of us. Right now, the leading scorer summary brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. The Knicks took 102 shots, made 44. Only one starter was in double figures. That was Patrick Ewing with a quiet 11 points. John Starks led the way with 15 points as 9 Knicks play more than 20 minutes. For the Portland Trailblazers, who shot only 35%, Kevin Duckworth seemed to be the only one prepared to play tonight. 18 points for Duckworth, 7 rebounds. Clyde Drexler, very quiet, 14. Cliff Robinson, a very quiet 13. Overall, you get the message. The Blazers were quiet tonight. Passing the name of the game for the Knicks.
After weeknight Nick and Ranger home games, catch Sports Talks. Beers, the only beer with the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Nothing beats a Bud.
And the dunk of the game comes off a Knick rebound. They out-rebounded the Blazers tonight 59-49, and they used those rebounds to key the transition. And here you see no better man to lead the way than Patrick Ewing for the Bud dunk of the game. Now, the Toyota matchup was in the middle. Early foul trouble got to Patrick Ewing, and so Ewing only saw 26 minutes of action while Duckworth played 35. Here it is, the matchup of the numbers going to Kevin Duckworth tonight, but the game going in a very big way to the New York Knicks. On Saturday, they beat last year's best of the East. Tonight, it was the best of the West. The Knicks making their point to the Portland Trailblazers tonight to the tune of 101-85. Next